Hey guys, so I also wanted to talk about why people should learn stick shift. I know I talk about stick shift a lot and I'm making how-to videos for it. I love manual, don't get me wrong, but it's honestly, I feel like it's kind of a necessity to learn. You know, you can get by without learning stick. You can very well get by. There's no doubt about it. You'll be able to get by not knowing a manual. But let's say you get a job that has to deal with cars. Let's say you're someone that's gonna go into car hauling or doing valet stuff, or you're gonna open your own business that has to deal with a bunch of cars. Then you may want to learn a manual. I say that because I don't say that when you learn a manual you have to drive manual. You don't have to. That's your preference. I don't care. But I'm only saying that it should be a necessity because you never know. You may run across a time where you're going to have to drive a manual. And if you don't know how to drive a manual and you're in a state of emergency of some sort and you really need to drive one, then you're kind of screwed. So I would definitely say go learn one for multiple reasons. Let's say you're about to drive someone's car. Like, let's say your buddy just got locked up. Hopefully none of your friends ever get locked up, or anyone you know ever gets locked up. But let's say someone does. And it's due to a traffic stop, and they need someone to take the car home. You just happen to be the person that they called, and you agree to go get it. Now, when you get there, you find out that it's a manual, and of course, you don't know how to drive it. So, what do you do there? You learn how to drive it, or you leave it. That's where an instance would be learning manual beforehand would save you. You don't have to drive a manual, but if you at least know how, you've been taught how, you can do it. Honestly, learning a manual is not that hard. You just got to put the time and effort into it. I picked it up within a week, and I was barely driving much, maybe a half hour or an hour a day, and I picked it up very easily. So I would definitely say go to learn one. It doesn't hurt. It actually helps to learn one. But there could also be other reasons. Maybe you get a company car at work and they just only happen to have a manual. Now you're forced to learn manual because you have to drive that company car a lot. But there could be other instances, like let's say you're going somewhere, or like let's say you go out of town somewhere, like out of the country. You know, U.S. is one of the only U.S. is the only country in the world, from what I know. U.S. is the only country in the world that gives an automatic car as the standard. Every other country I've been to, except for the U.S., and I live in the U.S., but I'm saying when I travel in-state, every country that I've been to and received a rental car, they were all manuals. Honestly, they were all manuals. And this is where I felt that knowing a manual was a great necessity, because all the cars I got were generally manuals. And I told them I knew how to drive a manual, so they didn't have to worry about finding an automatic, because over in Europe, it's very automatics are slim to none. There's literally almost zero. Maybe 25% of the cars in Europe are automatics. Majority of them are manuals, and I can vouch for most of the Europeans. So this is where I'd say it's good to learn one, because you never know. You may end up going somewhere, or you may end up running into a situation where you're gonna run into driving a manual you maybe get a job, let's say at a valet, like a valet job. Those guys do not, they actually require you to learn a manual. So if you want to be a valet driver while you're in college or something, until you get a career job, knowing a manual is a must. Actually, it is a must, and you cannot get away with driving an automatic. You're gonna run into a car. I work with valet drivers all the time for work. I don't work as a valet driver, but I work for a company that does work with them from time to time. And there were times where almost 90% of the cars in their lots were manuals. So anything to do with a car-related job, you're gonna have to know a manual. If you want to work for a dealership, any position in a dealership, you're gonna have to know how to drive manual. You're gonna have to know how to drive manual if you want to drive something special, like if you want to drive a truck, they're gonna want you to know manual. If you want any sort of special license, they're gonna want you to know manual for those reasons. For the most part, that's what I've heard in Illinois. That's what they want. But honestly, it's a good thing to learn. I can't complain. I love manuals for that reason. It allows me to drive sports cars that I want to drive. You can get, like, if you learn manual, you can drive any car in the world. If you know how to drive manual, you can drive any car in the world. There's no car restricting you from driving it, because you know how to drive a manual. The only thing that would be restricting you is maybe the owner. And I may say that because he may not trust you, or she may not trust you, or it may not be a good time. But if you know how to drive a manual, you can drive any car in the world. That's why I say it's a good thing to learn manual. So I'm sorry I dragged out the video, but I really emphasized a couple of things, like mainly 3 things. And I'll be making more videos, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.